All right, guys, welcome back to the Buck Fever podcast. The gang is all here. We have Jake and Colby and Eli and myself. And as I'm sat here staring at my Christmas tree, I can't help but think about in just a few short weeks, Santa Claus is going to visit and there's going to be some presents under there. And if you're listening to this and either you're thinking about ideas to put on your wish list, or maybe there's a special somebody in your life who, is into hunting and you might be looking for some ideas for presents to get them. We've got a big list of items here, ranging everything from, stocking stuffers to big time prizes here that just a lot of good ideas of gifts that you could get somebody that have been huge for us over the past couple of years here. So I think we're going to do kind of a round robin style here, share some of our thoughts, and hopefully give you guys some good gift ideas. So I don't know, maybe Colby, you want to kick it off?
Sure, why not? Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. First thing on the wish list here, or something that should be on your wish list, because I already have these items, obviously. I've talked about this item before, but man, it's just been a lifesaver in so many instances, and it is, they're called Buck Cuffs by Game Cuffs. It's gamecuffs.com, but they're essentially a deer dragging tool that makes life way easier if you shoot a deer and it runs into a tough spot, whether it's, thick in the back brush or down a hill a little bit. We've all been there where you try to, whether you're by yourself, which is even worse, or with a buddy, but you each grab an antler if it's a buck, and, you're constantly slipping off of that grip, or you can't quite get the right handle on it. Or worse yet, grabbing the leg of a deer or a doe, and it's slippery. You never seem to have a great grip on it, and you're constantly having to stop because one of the two guys are losing their grip or whatnot. These game cuffs are phenomenal. It's essentially a cable that has a little circle on the end. You let's say it's a doe. You put it over the leg, over the top of the hoof, down the leg. You cinch it tight, and then it comes up to a handle with a strap. You put your hand through the strap and get the grab onto a handle. And if you're by yourself, you just connect both and grab onto both handles with each arm, put your hands behind your back, and you can just go with your legs. Or if you're with a buddy, you each grab one of these handles, and you can really just manhandle these deer. No slip of the hand. You got a firm grip on this handle, and you can get these deer at least drug out, to where an easier spot where you can pull up with the truck or the ATV or something. Or if you got to go a long distance, it still is 100 times easier than constantly slipping on a leg. None of the items we're going to talk about today are we sponsored with. They're just pure items that we believe in, that we use, that we think are awesome. These game cuffs you can get at gamecuffs.com for $20. They could fit right in a stocking. A perfect stocking stuffer for anybody that has had a bad experience dragging deer out in the past. And they fit right into my backpack, right into my cleaning bag that I bring along with my knife, butt out, gut and gloves. And these game cuffs go right into a plastic bag at the bottom of my backpack, and they're always with me, and pretty much always used every time a deer is shot. So that's going to be my first little gift.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. And just to piggyback off of that, we're going to put links to each of these items in the description of the video. Like Colby said, they're not affiliate links. We're not sponsored. We're not going to make anything off of it. Just to make it easier for you guys, if you're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, I want to look into it, just go to the description and it should be there for you. So easy links if you want to look into these things a little bit further. But yeah, moving right along here, Eli, you're up.
All right. What do you call a deer with no eyes?
I don't know.
No idea.
All right,
Which,
Jake, you're up.
well, that was a segue. It connects to my first item. Um, Probably the most underrated item that not many people know about. It is the XK Glow green headlamp. Um, I have, I currently own two of these. I have bought them for multiple friends of mine when we used to have a little bit larger hunting group that would get together. I had bought a couple of extras so that everybody in our group could have one because they are a game changer for walking in the dark. So it's a XK Glow green headlamp. I found them on Amazon. They're, I believe, $39.99, and it's something about the green color that does not alert deer to your presence the same as a white light. Um, I know red light is really good. Deer can't see the red very well at all, but I've never seen a red light where I can actually see what the heck I'm doing more than 2 feet in front of me as I'm walking in. So I'm not going to be able to see any deer that are out in front of me if I'm crossing an open field. This headlamp, it is super bright. There's also a dim setting, and there's a third setting, which is a strobe, which never gets used by me. But it also has the ability to focus the light, and it focuses that beam of light, and like you can see a solid 100 or so yards out ahead of you. Um, like it may be considered like shining if you're using it wrong. But I don't know, there have been so many deer that I have seen walking in, and because of this headlamp, have been able to stop, let them mosey on their way, and get out of there, or be able to make a decision like, well, it doesn't look like it's anything significant. I'm just going to blow this thing out of here and keep moving on. Um, their eyes reflect back at you like super well, and like I've actually followed deer at about 20 yards, like into the woods in the dark, and they have absolutely no idea what's going on. I've walked past deer at like 15 yards with the wind in my favor, and they just continue to do their normal things. So I know that Pat has one. I know that I let you guys use one over on our Minnesota trip, and they are an absolute game changer. I will probably never use a normal light to get in or out of the woods. Rechargeable batteries too, so and it lasts a long time. Like if I'm hunting for 4 or 5 days straight, you can probably get away with doing that and not charging it. Um, and yeah, just an awesome product.
Yeah, I mean, if you're using a regular flashlight or if you're using like your phone's flashlight or something, I think it's a no-brainer. You might as well upgrade and get a green one like this because I've heard nothing but good things from you guys and other guys out there. It sounds like that green light. There's something magical to it that just seems to work. So yeah, that's another good one. All right, Jake, you're up. What do you got for us?
Well, this one's a little more on the expensive end. I mean, not horrible, and depends if you get it on sale on Black Friday. I know you can get them for like 150 bucks, but these are a complete game changer for me. And if you're gonna sit all day, you're gonna want these a good pair of binoculars. So I have the Vortex Diamondback 10 by 42s. I absolutely love them. I think they're the perfect size for hunting in the Midwest where we do. I mean, you're not glassing a couple 1,000-acre fields where out west. So I really like them, and I know Vortex has a lifetime warranty, no questions asked, which is really cool because stuff happens. You're taking this piece of equipment out in the woods every time you go, and it's stuff just happens. I know our buddy broke his, and they sent him in, and no problem, no questions asked. So I highly recommend anybody who hunts and likes to see animals to purchase a pair of. They don't have to be Vortex or whatever, but Vortex is a very good brand in my opinion. And I don't leave the truck without them. Even if I'm not hunting, they're sitting on my dash in my truck just because I like to, when I'm driving around, or like if I see an animal, I pull over and look at it. So they're my go-to. I always got them with me.
I'm going to jump in too and give Jake's gift here a definite like triple thumbs up and talk about their warranty as well. Like I use the exact same pair Jake's talking about, 10x42 Diamondbacks. Couple years ago, I had an issue where I broke my original pair and I had called Vortex and they have like a no questions asked warranty. And I basically didn't even get done describing what had happened to my pair of binoculars. And they asked me the question, are you going to hunt this next week? And I'm like, yeah, I'm actually, I think that was the time I had a trip planned to Minnesota, like 4 days ahead. And they're like, you'll have a new pair tomorrow. And I'm like, tomorrow? And they're like, yep, they're going out like in the next 30 minutes and you will have them at your door tomorrow. And I had them at my door the next day. It was unbelievable customer service. I will never buy another Bino pair other than Vortex because of that flat alone. But I love my 10x42 Diamondbacks, just like Jake's talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive customer service there for sure. And I mean, if you're serious about hunting and like you do it every year quite a bit, multiple weekends a year, like it's worth it. It's not that much of an upfront investment, and it really does make a huge difference to have a decent pair of binoculars versus some cheap pair that really sucks and hurts your eyes and doesn't actually allow you to really see anything that much more clearly. But my gift idea is actually kind of a piggyback off of that. The one knock I have on those Vortex binoculars is the harness that they come with sucks. It's terrible. There's been times where I haven't brought my binoculars out into the woods because I didn't feel like having that harness on. It's just a standard. I mean, it's good that they give you one, I guess. It's better than if you just had a pair of binoculars with a neck strap or nothing. Or I mean, good on them for that. But it's not super comfy. It has no features whatsoever. It doesn't really blend in very well. I know Jake and I have had problems turkey hunting. We think that has sometimes spooked turkeys because they pick out that lighter brown Vortex Bino harness with the white logo that kind of pops out against our darker camouflage. It's just no good. So this past year I upgraded and got the First Light, and theirs is like an FHF gear, partnership that they have. It's all under the same brand sort of thing, but it is the First Light Bino harness, and so it matches the camo that I wear, which obviously depending upon what camo you would be wearing, it could be different, but it blends in so much better, and that's kind of a minor detail compared to everything else that it adds. It opens from the back instead of the front, so you can get at your binoculars with far, far, far less movement than the standard Bino harness. And then all the attachments that it comes with, you can add a rangefinder attachment. So now you can have your rangefinder on your chest. You can add like a little pouch for a wind detector or a grunt tube, or you can have a gun holster attachment to it. I mean, it's really, the possibilities are endless. You could potentially even pack super light and get enough stuff onto that harness with attachments that you wouldn't even need a backpack for certain hunts. Like it's been a game changer to me. Without it, there were times I'd leave my binoculars in the truck, and now With it, I'm never leaving the truck without them. So it's a little bit more on the expensive side for sure, but well worth it in my opinion. So that's round one. Let's run it back. Colby, what's your second gift? Colby? Are you with us?
Sorry, I had the mute on.
Oh,
I'm back.
He's back.
Yeah, round two here. One of my favorite products that I've been using the last couple of years is Arctic Shield boot covers or boot insulators. I've for a long time suffered from, having cold feet up in the stand and tried all kinds of different things like, layering 1, 2, 3 layers of socks. Used to really exclusively wear like rubber knee-high boots, and I'd do anything from 800 grain to 1200 grain to 1600 grain boots. And nothing ever really seemed to work. Like if you had the light grain, it wasn't enough insulation and your feet would end up getting cold. If you went too heavy, your feet would sweat getting in, and then eventually your feet would get cold. And then I finally came across these Arctic Shield boot covers or insulators, and essentially they're like a slip-on cover that you put over the top of your boots, and it creates an extra layer, but there's air in between like your normal sock. I still wear 1 to 2 pairs of socks, but now I just wear a simple hiking boot. I honestly don't even know if it's insulated. It's just the same hiking Keen boot that I wear to work every day, or that I would go hiking with. And I wear 1 to 2 pairs of socks, but this nice light hiking boot, I feel like I can, for all the terrain that we're getting in, or some of these mile hikes in, or hiking up a bluff, or hiking, a mile and a half in on a river bottom. The worst thing about that is wearing a 1200 grain knee-high, clunky, knee-high rubber boot. But now I'm wearing this, light hiking boot with a pair or 2 of socks. My feet aren't going to sweat. I feel lighter. I'm faster. I'm a little bit more agile. Finally get up in the tree, and a lot of times I can last for a little bit, but then if my feet start getting remotely cold, I slip these boot covers over the top, and I usually pack like 2 extra hand warmers and then slide a hand warmer in there as well. And there's this air pocket in between your boot and then these, new boot insulators that fit over the top. And now you add a hand warmer to that, and now this warm air is just circulating. And air acts as an insulator as well. So my feet have not been cold in 2 years, regardless of the temperature, using these things. And I'm wearing the lightest boot I can with only 1 or 2 pairs of socks. And I pack these boot covers in. You don't wear them in. I strap them to my backpack or strap them to my climbing stand. I carry them in, and then I only use them once my feet start getting a little bit cold. They've been a game changer for sure, and I know Eli uses them as well. My brother Tom uses them as well, and everyone's had rave reviews about them. So you can get them for about, give or take, $50. Sometimes you can find them on sale, but roughly regular price $50. They're a game changer for me. For anybody that has cold feet, I would give them a shot, especially if you're walking in decent distances, because it allows you to wear a much lighter, smaller boot getting in. We can be a little bit quieter too. You're not clunking around with like a huge rubber boot. So that's also a big difference, I think. You can wear a smaller footprint getting in, but they're awesome. I love them.
And there's a little blaze orange polar bear on them, so you know they're warm.
That is the greatest point, the selling point right there.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than cold toes, cold feet. Maybe wet feet.
No, I mean that's one of the drivers. That's one of the drivers that'll drive you right out of the tree, right? Cold feet or cold hands.
Yep.
Usually, if you can keep your hands and your feet warm, you can deal with being a little chilled in the back or the chest or something. But when you have that completely frozen toes or hands, boy, there's nothing that is screaming at you to get out of the stand quicker than than having those frozen toes or frozen fingers. So
Yeah, and if you let them get
keeps you on
that
stand longer.
frozen, usually you can't really do much to bring them back.
Right.
All right, yeah, that's another good one. Eli, you got a second one for us?
Yep, I do. So this starter here might be a true story about my house. I'm not sure yet, but a man is grilling some venison when his kids ask him, "What kind of meat is it, Daddy?" He replies, "I'll give you a hint. It's what Mommy calls me sometimes." The daughter exclaims, "Don't eat it. It's an asshole."
Oh man.
So that, yeah, like I said, that might have been a true story in my house this fall. But my next item is the butt out, if you've ever heard of it. So the butt out itself, I believe, is about $10 normally. It's made by Hunter Specialties, and currently on Amazon, you can get a Hunter Specialties gut and butt combo on sale, 37% off for $15.99. So the butt out is a tool that you insert into the butthole, push it in there about as far as you can go. You give her about a twist or two, and then you pull the butthole out. I always carry some small zip ties with me. I will zip tie the intestines as they come out, and then I can just make a little cut, and there they are. When you pull the guts out of the deer, the butthole comes, or all the intestines and stuff come right out with it, and they are not connected on the inside. So it makes the field dressing process a whole lot cleaner, because you're not getting poop and things like that are going to come out all over into your meat, which sometimes can happen with the old school method of just taking your knife and trying to carve around it. So, and then with the gut combo with it, I do not have that myself. However, I do have a gut tool that I use, which prevents you from popping the stomach when you get up near that area. And anyone who's field dressed deer and has accidentally nipped that stomach has probably gotten a wave of unpleasant guts smell into your nose, mouth, and then all you can taste and smell for like the next 3 days, if there's any kind of nasty odor, is deer stomach fluid. So you don't want to have that. You also don't want to have that touching the precious tenderloins that are located on the inside of the deer. So nice, cheap little stocking stuffer for any ladies that are listening. If you want to make your man happy, just get him a butt out, and it'll make things a whole lot easier when he's getting down and dirty after a kill.
Boy, that's a hell of a sales pitch there, Eli. I think if there's any ladies listening, they probably skipped on past that part. But no, it's definitely well worth having tools like that, because as you described, there are certain unpleasant aspects of gutting out a deer that tend to they tend to linger, and it's not pretty. I'm sure Jake can appreciate that. You get, not necessarily with gutting deer, I mean, but sometimes you got a bit of a queasy stomach to you.
Well, that's what I was gonna lean into, because mine is a very similar product to Eli's. But when I was younger, like 8, 9, I couldn't even be around it when it gut deer. I mean, I'd be puking, and even if the stomach wasn't hit, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't be around it. I'd be puking, blowing chunks everywhere. And now I gut all the deer, no matter who shoots them. And fun story: these 2 of the does that we shot this year, they were both quartering too, so that's you're gonna run that bullet pretty much the whole way of the deer. And sure enough, they both tore into some guts, and it was very messy and stinky. But where we are, we take them back to the cabin, and we have a hose where we can wash them out. So this next tool is it doesn't really have a name. I just call it the pelvic saw, and it eliminates the butt out, and or even if you don't have a butt out, I for some reason never had one with me this year, so I would always have to do the old cut around and pull it out by hand, and if you can touch your hand through the pelvis area, then you're good to go. But these saws are game changers. You basically before you even gut it at all, you kind of clear away the area, whether it's a doe or a buck, and you cut in between the pelvises or the legs, and basically just like pop it open, and then you can you skin up, grab all the guts and everything, and you pull it all out at once, and it just slides right out. Little messier because you're kind of poking at all the intestines when you're sawing and whatnot, but for the most part it's pretty clean. And it was a game changer, especially with a couple of those deer just busted up inside, and we had to wash them out anyway. So I really like that. I do also have a butt out in my bin somewhere in case all else fails, but that one's very cheap too. I think it was like 16, 17 bucks. So it's well worth it. Either you can't go wrong with the butt out or the pelvis saw is what I call it. So just beats using your fingers and your buck knife, like Noah was saying earlier. So
Yeah, you probably should have one or the other or both because, yeah, like we had talked about a little bit earlier, we'll just take a buck knife and just beat the crap out of it, to push it through the pelvis until it breaks. And that's probably not the greatest thing for your knife, especially, when you're trying to field dress it the rest of the way after that. So as cheap as these other options are and as much easier as they make it, it's kind of a no-brainer for sure. But yeah, so my last one then, it's a little bit on a different end of the spectrum here. If if you're looking for something that is, I don't know, I mean, it's just different, I guess, but to get a subscription to a mapping service, so like Onyx, or we use HuntWise, or no, we don't, not HuntWise, but I think that is one. HuntStand is the one that we use, and I know there's a couple other ones out there. But if you don't have one yet, if you don't have that subscription, or you're shopping for a hunter who doesn't have a subscription to a mapping service yet, whether you're on public land or you do some out-of-state hunts, or even just to look over your own property that you either own or have permission on or whatever, it can really be a game changer. We sort of discovered things just by looking at a map within our own property and marking where our tree stands are and marking out where some of the trails are, and things started to click a little bit more for us when we could look at things like that. And our Minnesota trip this year probably wouldn't have been possible. I mean, I know you could argue that you could use a paper map or Googling things or whatever. I mean, there's ways to do it, but they're a lot harder. Jake and I spent a bunch of time scouting mobily using Onyx, and then also driving around and actually having Onyx up and kind of using that to follow the map and search for other public lands. So that's something that's a little bit more out of the box. If you don't have a subscription like that yet, I think all of us would highly recommend it. It can really be a game changer in ways that you don't necessarily anticipate. So I think that's pretty much, that's a good list here, boys. I'm sure we could think of a bunch of other stuff, but that's a pretty wide range from some cheaper items and some more expensive items, and kind of all the way across the board from scouting to the end of the kill. We pretty much covered it.
Yep. Hey, what's cheaper, beer nuts or deer nuts? Well, the deer nuts, because they're under $1.
Aha! Nice.
This guy's on a roll.
He's on a
You
roll.
ever
Somebody,
wonder why the deer got braces? He had buck teeth.
Little holiday holiday laughter.
somebody cut this guy off.
Yeah.
Couple
And if
deer jokes.
If anyone listening is feeling very generous, I shoot a 29.5-inch in the Matthews lift, and 40 acres in Iowa would be great.
Yeah.
Those are also great items on a Christmas list for anyone that would like to, throw me a gift as well. I'd appreciate either one of those.
And hey, if I could advocate for one other gift, Buck Fever Outdoors does have a pretty nice website with some high quality merch items on it that would make a really nice gift for anybody who's into hunting or fishing, or even if they're not. I mean, it's still high quality items. We've got hats, we've got t-shirts, we've got sweatshirts, we've got crew necks, we got bumper stickers. There might be stuff on there I don't even know about. We've got all kinds of good stuff. So that'd be my final plug for gift ideas. Maybe go peruse it, buckfeveroutdoors.com, see if you find something in there that you like, and that could be a good gift for you.
Absolutely. How did no one say that before this? We got to plug ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, we appreciate everybody listening along. What podcast number is this on the year, Switz?
We'll put this one out tomorrow, so it'll be 48.
48. So we're, getting close to that 52 in a row, a full year, right? So
yep.
Thanks everyone for listening along this whole time, and hopefully there's a gift or two in there for your wish list, or something you can gift to someone else, that hunter in your family. So a lot of good products that made a good difference for us over the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit different episode tonight, but one that should be pretty useful. We talk a lot about hunting strategy and stuff like that, but with the holiday season right around the corner, I know sometimes it can be challenging to come up with the right gift for everybody. But if there's a hunter in your life that you're shopping for, I think they'll be happy to get any of those items that we listed here tonight. So yeah, like Colby said, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Everybody who's stuck with us here for all these episodes, we can't thank you enough. And thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.